la la ba. Ba-da-da-da-ba-da-da-da. I know that people get super upset because I'm singing at the beginning, but I gotta let it load. Wow. I gotta let it load. I gotta let it load or it's not gonna be loaded. What's up, Internet? What's going on? What are you doing? What is happening today? It is Wednesday the 19th. What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's the 19th of September. I'm not really sure. What is this? You know what? Let's check this out. Whoa. Should we change this to auto? No, we don't want this to auto. What is this doing? Why does it keep doing that? Maybe it's the exposure. Whoa! There we go. How's that? Well, no. Whoa. What? Oh. What? Oh. What? Whoa. Okay, let's just send that. We'll send that back to automatic. Well, I don't know what it's doing. Let's zoom in. Zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. It gets brighter. It's automatically doing something that it's not supposed to automatically do. But what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic day. As you guys know, I'm always kicking the tires around here and trying to figure out what is up with this computer. Needless to say, we are having a reasonable Wednesday here so far, you guys. A quick update on what is happening. There is as you guys know, there is a new aquarium in my truck right now. So at some point, I have to get out of here and go haul it out of there because it's kind of heavy. So I'm going to have to be a little particular about how I get that out of there. But either way, I'm going to have to do that at some point in time. Today's video, I've got an update on the Reef situation. As we checked in on Monday, there was a bit of a Reef situation. If you guys are appraised with what's going on with that today's video will pertain to that. It has to do with the title that is all about... What is this thing doing over here? Hold on. There we go. We have to... run through basically what to do in a disaster. That's pretty much what today's video is going to be about. That's a lot of what we're going to talk about. I want to give a big shout out to John Carlson for being first to the chat today. Good job, John. Quickly followed by M. Howie9 and Frank Dominguez. Mike Howe, I think is how his name's said. It's not Howie, but, you know, I like to read things wrong because... You know, I'm not that bright. Ken M.A. is here. Mako is here. Rocky's Rocky, 54 Punchy. Jad Orzi. Let's see who else. Oh, Mike Howie says, what's up to everyone? What's everyone up to tonight? I have to move some guppies to a different tank since I'm getting a new fish tomorrow. Oh, get a new fish. That's always good. Nando Manuel is here. Says, what's up? I still haven't gotten try to catch up with this chat a little bit. All right, Candy Overhauls is here. What's up, Candy? Good to see you. Big Pedro is here. Susan for SLC Aquatics. What's up? How you doing? Oh, Susan, I forgot to email you back, and that's my bad. I'm sorry about that. I will have to email you back soon. I can't email from that account from my cell phone. So that's been my issue. Every time I've tried to email you back, I've been on my cell phone and I can't do it. I have to do it from my office. And often when I'm in my office, you know how it goes. Nick's Fish Room is here. Bentley Pasco, Fish Tropic. What's going on? Good to see you. Tampa Tom. Valerie Van Zyl. Oh, Guppy Mama is having her babies. It's always a good time. Always a good time. Terry Williams is here. JW Aquariums is here. Chevy Smith laying on a couch sick. Perfect timing for live. Corvus, that's me. Perfect timing. Sorry to hear you're sick. Maybe you got to skip the day and just relax and get better. We want everybody to get better out there. Abby Stevens is here, Daddy Tanky, Sarah Kanopko, and Heather Nielsen. I think that was everybody. If I missed somebody, it wasn't on purpose. Kevin Keener, can't talk, driving, but lurking. Careful driving the bus, man. Or maybe you're just driving your car. I don't know. But either way, it's Wednesday, so today has been setting up a bunch of stuff and getting things sorted out and driving around in traffic. Regular crazy madness on my end over here. I do have to start out the show today on a real down note. And I apologize for that. I apologize for Monday being a down note and Wednesday being a down note, but you know, sometimes bad things happen. And those of you that follow me on Facebook know I lost one of my good friends and mentors passed away Monday evening and through the night, Monday night, Tuesday morning, I'm not sure. And I don't know how I don't even know how I'm processing it yet. I'm not sure. I do realize that I did realize yesterday that you know, Dean and Corey were getting ready for their live stream, which I thought was really good. That was a great live stream yesterday. And I did realize that that my friend that passed away is basically like my version of Dean. You know, so I guess it's not unexpected because people with gray hair, I guess, you know, that kind of thing. But you know, it wasn't that much, you know, wasn't that much older. And but just as a reminder to the people out there that that may or may not be taking the time because you know, over the last year, just everything was, there's just too many other things to do, and I didn't go visit John. So I think the big regret that I have right now is not just making it happen. You know, like I think I should have I think I should have tried harder to make it happen, to go visit and stuff, but I think we all have a tendency to get really like self-involved with our own stuff, and I think it's just a reminder that that this whole thing that we're doing here, this whole life thing, is pretty fleeting. You know what I mean? So don't skip out on that stuff. Don't skip out to. I mean, nobody ever says you should have gone to work that extra day. You know. Blah, blah, blah. No one's saying don't work hard, but what I'm saying is you just can't skip out on that kind of stuff because you just never know when the end is coming. We don't know. We never know. No one ever knows. And so I'm just kind of dealing with that right now. So, you know, I don't know how I'm dealing with it at this point. I've definitely been having to talk to people. Like I said, it's just an important person has passed away, and there isn't, like I said, there isn't much I can do about it. There's zero that I can do about it except process it. If I need to help anybody out, then I will help them out and do the best I can. And I guess we'll just leave it at that. I love John a lot. He was a very important person to me, and I'm gonna definitely miss him a lot. And it just, you know, either way, it just was not. I don't know. People would say it was expected. I didn't expect it. I didn't ever expect that. So, anyhow, that's what's going on in my neck of the woods. As I mentioned earlier, I do have the new tank in the 120 that I basically leveraged my credit card against. Is in my truck, so we try to, I guess, try to stay on a positive note, right? And just be like, well, hey, at least there's a new tank coming in, and so that's something for you guys, you know. But needless to say, if I'm a little bit grouchy or whatever for the next week or whatever, that's just kind of what's going on. So, yeah, It just is. It just is what we could do. You know, it just is what we could do. And I appreciate everyone. I appreciate everybody letting me know what's going on. I think, I don't know. I think one of the other things that's kind of been affecting me recently is I just don't feel like I've gotten a lot of wins lately. You know what I mean? So I've been on this stretch of like, you know, the Patreon, like people drop off of the Patreon, and then I always wonder like what did I do? What did I do to make them mad, right? You know, because the negative, anytime you ever get like a negative response to something, it, for whatever reason, like being human, it just, that's the thing that rings out, right? You know, 100 people could tell you you're doing a great job, and then one person is like, man, you suck. And then that's the thing that just sits in your head for whatever reason. I don't know why that is. That just seems to be a weird human thing, I guess. Some of the psychology professors that I talked to about that many 20-something years ago or whatever say that that's just part of the evolution of like tribal living and stuff like that. I guess if somebody really had a problem with you back then, it could have been life and death or whatever, but I don't know why we still have that. But I guess just to say, like, it just hasn't, I haven't felt like, I probably have been having lots of wins. I just don't feel like I'm been having them. You know what I mean? Oscen has a great point there. My win is coming in the form of a human child. That's the thing. It's like the baby is healthy, and Vicky is doing pretty well, and everything's going great. So I'm excited for that. So yeah, it's pretty regularly. I like I said, my life is not without the wins. I'm just saying. I'm just in a weird position where it's just like some negative things are just really in the forefront of my mind right now, and it's just it's a bit much. So I'm definitely gonna have some I gotta have some quiet time here fairly soon coming up, and just kind of lament on some of the things that are going on. I did realize earlier when I was cleaning up a little bit, I've got some. I've got aquarium paraphernalia on my desk. I'm sure somebody who like doesn't know anything about aquariums is like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And I'll tell you, it's little pine cones for my shrimp. And I realize I got a shrimp snack right here that shrimp love snacking on, and I got to put those in the tank. And maybe I got to make a video about it. I don't know. I don't know if people get excited about pine cones. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. We'll find out. Nick says he thinks I'll be an awesome dad. I think I'll be a pretty good dad. As Ken says, kids are the best when they're not on your nerves. I know that everybody runs out of patience sometimes. That kind of stuff does happen for sure. Do my best to be the best parent I can. That's just really, that's my goal. My goal is just to be the best that I can at that, and provide the best that I can for Vicky and my daughter, my two ladies, plus Biddy Brown. B Brown. I don't know. It's sunny outside, so the dogs are probably out there. Dogs are probably outside barking up at the sky or something like they were earlier. I don't know. It was kind of funny. Anyhow, let's see. So that's all that's going on there. Nobody sent me anything about any sales today, but I was up at the Aquarium Coop yesterday, and I will say I was pretty stoked to admit, or I'll admit that I was pretty stoked. Oh, what happened? No, I do not want a new browser experience. What is this? I'm telling you guys, you know, this is one of those things that all right, where is it in here? I tell you guys, the bad news comes in threes, I think. I think that's what somebody told me at some point in time, or I read that somewhere, maybe on a motivational poster or something like that. So the Reef died, my friend died, and now Google has a new Google has changed the browser outlet layout. So, you know, it comes in threes, you know. That's got to be the deal. That's got to be it, right? And I don't have my affiliate link here ready, so I'm going to copy it and paste it. Boop, paste, pow. All right, so there's the deal. I was actually up at the coop last night, and I realized, oh my gosh, they have a whole bunch of Pinatophyta. If you don't know what hygrophilia, however you want to say it, Pinatophyta this is my favorite plant in a long time. This is my favoriteest plant in a long time. I love this plant, and realistically, I had kind of forgotten that this plant really. It's not that I'd forgotten that this plant existed. It's just that I just forgotten how cool this plant was, and I haven't had any in a long time. So I actually picked some up myself in person. Okay, I got them. Picked them up in person yesterday. If you guys are interested in this plant, it is an awesome plant. It is just I cannot recommend it enough. That's one of my favorite plants around. It just grows so cool, and honestly, it has become a more popular plant than it used to be. It does grow a lot like bulbitis is kind of what I would put it in the group. It doesn't need a ton of light. It doesn't need a ton of stuff in order for it to grow. It obviously needs a good aquarium that you are taking care of. But other than that, you're going to be pretty good. You don't need any real fancy lights or anything crazy like that. And I definitely, it's one of my favorite plants. So I picked up 4 pots of that yesterday, and we'll see. I'll be showing you guys how to use it here in the short future. I wanted to mention it now because it's going to be like a week or two before I can really do that much with it, because just the timeline of all the crazy stuff I got going on here. And needless to say, I have to get the 180-gallon Reef tank. I actually have to get the actual tank out of the way, build a new stand for both of the 120s, get them set up on there, get them ready for plumbing and all that stuff, and then it's just going to be mayhem around here for the next little while. And that Pinatophyta is going to be one of the plants that I'm going to be messing with. And Brian says, I should have said something. I could have sent you home with a bunch of Pinatophyta. Just trimmed a bunch. Hey, if you accidentally just drop it into a box and then it flies its way out here, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that is one of my favorite plants out there. Barbara Jackson just showed up. Said, oh, sorry, I forgot about the time. Hey, everybody. Good to see you on a hump day. Hump day! You know what I'm saying. It's a hump day out here. Chi to the burrito. Chi to the burrito. I tell you, sometimes people's handles just crack me up. All right, I like it. Chi to the burrito says, hey, Joel, just offered a job at a fish store. What should I expect working there? It really depends on the fish store itself. If you're talking about Petco, PetSmart, or any kind of bigger chain store like that, a lot of the work is water changes, maintenance, and cleaning, but it's more over answering people's questions and showing people where stuff is. So that's going to be essentially retail. If it's sort of a mom and pop's fish store, you're going to be doing water changes and cleaning tanks and stuff like that for sure. Acclimating fish, receiving things, doing inventory, all that kind of stuff. But you definitely, I think in the mom and pop version versus the Petco PetSmart version, I think the mom and pop version is better, in my opinion, just as somebody who's an actual hobbyist, because you're going to be able to have actual conversations with people that come in. You can let them know about stuff that's been there, like, oh, we've had these for like 2 weeks or something like that. They seem to be doing really well. They've acclimated, this and that. Whereas sort of the chain store stuff is going to be more like, here, try this thing. Here, try that thing. You know, so as far as the expectation goes, I would have the expectation of working. This is something I would remind everybody. I would have the expectation of a couple weeks, like you to be scheduled work, right? Like a week and a half, 2 weeks is pretty much how I always scheduled everybody, unless there was going to be a weird schedule change, like a holiday. I would normally put like 3 weeks worth of schedule up or something like that. So a regular schedule that you work, a decent wage, and, you know, safe work environment and all that kind of stuff. That would be my expectation. Other than that, everything else is nowadays is just kind of like up to the employer whether they're going to kick it in or not. Melanie Victor is here. Hello, good to see you. Rich Andy is here. Hey, what's up? Mateo 501, what's up, man? Gareth Doyle says, I got to move on with the times. Hey, we all got to move on with the times. That's just a reality. Leslie Fishroom, lots of things comes in threes, like 3 fish, 3 shrimp, 3 plants. I got 4 plants. I didn't get 3. I got 4 instead. I'm just giving you a hard time. Johnny O'Free says, what's behind the camera? Well, there's like a wall back there. Oh, yeah, give me a hard time. This is an old fish painting I was working on, and I never got to work on it, and I've decided to put it back up on the easel because having that tree project on there means I just keep walking by it. I just keep walking by it, and I'm not getting work done as far as painting goes. I don't know why that is. It's just something to do with this painting. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that, but it just is like I'm just not getting anything done. So I don't know. It's Nature Man. It says server crashed at work. Freezer is broke. I hope there's not a third thing coming in. I think the third thing will probably be like. I think the third thing would be like the handle is broken on the toilet or something, right? Because it's always like 2 crazy things and 1 kind of regular thing, right? You know. Barbara Jackson got some Pinnatifida at a club auction, but most of my tanks are short, so it's in a small patio pond container. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, man, if you can grow, I think high grow, almost all the variants of high grow are like pretty easy to grow outside, which is always helpful for me because as you guys know, it's pretty wild as far as things go. Chevy Smith says he likes the tree as it is. I do like it as it is. The person that bought it, I was like, oh, cool, yeah, here you go, it's all done. And they were like, it's not done. I know it's not done. And I was like, yep, you're right. I'm going to finish it. I just don't know where to go on it from here. So we'll see what happens. But I did notice that it being up on the easel meant that I was like not doing work on it because I just kept walking past it like, I don't know. So I just need to get back into the groove of just painting on things. And this fish right here just needs a ton of painting and stuff. So it's something that I can just do, and then I'll be in the activity of just doing, and then more stuff will come from that. Whereas the way that I would relate that is that somebody was asking earlier that, like, how do you get over procrastination or anything like that? Just start something is always my answer for that. Like here's the deal. So somebody was like, well, I need to edit a video. And I was like, okay, go vacuum. Right? And they were like, well, I don't want to vacuum. I got to finish this video. And I was like, you know what? If you just go vacuum, you'll just start doing something, and then you'll just be in the rhythm of doing something. That is basically what helps me with procrastination. If I'm just like not doing anything, I will just go find something to do, get it done. like something I know that needs to be done. I'll just go find something, go do that, and then, oh, miraculously, like 20 minutes later, after I got the thing done, then I'm like, oh, I can just move on to another thing. I've got accomplishment under my belt, even if it's something as dumb as just like vacuuming or something like that, or like, oh, I got to organize this bucket of old rusty nails or something. You know what I mean? Like if I could just do something like that. Carlo Tropical Fish says, what happens snail shells in an aquarium when they die? I always wondered. Generally, the snail shells will break down over time and just kind of get absorbed up into the water column, or eaten up by things. Like if you have a lot of shrimp in your tanks and stuff like that, the shrimps will slowly break down the shells. A lot of people remove them. But that's a freshwater shell. Saltwater shells sort of just last forever, honestly. But that's the freshwater reactive versus saltwater reactive with the calcium and stuff in the shell. Will essentially just kind of eventually break it down as you kind of like run dry on calcium and whatnot. And all that stuff. Curtis Wegener, are you going to do a fish room tour? Not sure what you mean. Not sure what you mean by that. But I do have lots of videos up online. If you guys are big fans of people walking around with their camera live or with their like cell phone live stream, this is not the live stream for you. Honestly, this just honestly isn't it, because I do have some edited video. I have stuff like that, but no, it is not me clunking into the glass with my cell phone and being like, hey, look, there's a fish in there. If that's the live stream you like, this probably isn't the one for you. I put a lot of time and energy into getting the audio and all that kind of stuff. This is sort of like a podcast with video, if that makes sense. Yeah, so if you want to see a fish room tour, there will be fish room tour videos. There will be all sorts of them out there, and I do have a bunch of other fish room tour videos down the line. Water Forest Planet Aquarium said green aqua had to be the absolute shizness. Yeah, I very much enjoyed my time at Green Aqua. It's a great store with a lot of people putting in a lot of effort there, which that was definitely the great thing about it. It was like very well laid out. It is a new place. So bear in mind that like Green Aqua has only been open for like a couple of months or something like that. So it has that new car smell. It has that freshness about it. They put in a lot of time and energy into figuring out the layout. They were open in a different location like 9 or 10 years previous to that. So they moved to that location. It was a great place. I loved it. I had a great time there. Those guys were fantastic, and I really enjoyed my time there. I had a good time. We were only there for like an hour and a half. So something that I was having a discussion about yesterday was we keep going to these places and we only have like 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half if we're lucky, like at them. And I got to figure out how to change that. I got to figure out how to how the travel is being done, because I'm not even 100% happy with how like the YouTube videos and stuff like that are coming out of the places that we're going to. So I don't know. Maybe it's a downfall of me. Maybe I'm just not doing a good enough job, like telling the story or anything like that. So maybe it's a downfall of me. Maybe my production style is terrible. Maybe it's just my editing style sucks or whatever. But I'm going to have to figure it out, because it seems to me that like any of the bigger productions I've ever been involved in was just all about pre-planning and taking time. So it was like almost anything that I've ever worked on that was you know, a bigger production and stuff like that, it definitely definitely take your time to get lights set up, to get mics set up on people. Every time I go somewhere and I put a mic on somebody, they're like, "Wait, what are you doing?" You know, and it's like, I would like to hear your audio in a very nice way, so I'm putting a mic on you. So it's even stuff like that that just getting people like even more comfortable with like what's going on. So I don't know. It's something that I have to figure out. It's something that I'm thinking about and was actively talking about yesterday. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. Let's move on to the video, and I gotta start it at the beginning. All right. In the right-hand corner. Uh-oh, I gotta turn on the whiteboard. In the right-hand corner over here. Look at it. I'm not very good at drawing. You guys know I'm not very good at drawing. In this corner, we've got a 60-gallon cube aquarium that used to have killifish in it. The killifish, do not worry, they are in a temporary, smaller tank, just hanging out in there. Let's see here. Palmer's Aquariums is asking about, or sorry, is it Palmer's Aquariums? How would I know? I don't know how to read. Palmer Fish Q&A. There we go. Is asking about, I get mine off of, hold on, I'll get you a link for him. Glass. Whole saw. All right. So I get my whole saws for drilling glass off of Amazon. There are a couple of brands that I like. Here is one right here. And I'll get that for you. Let me get the link. I'm going to get the link. There are some cheaper ones out there. I will even say that if you go look on Amazon, there are some cheaper ones out there. But these these Drillax ones, I don't know. It's a generic Chinese name or whatever. Like, they have way less of a tendency to get wobbly, basically. So the base on a lot of the other generic brand glass hole saws have a tendency to so the actual cut part. So let's say this. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. I gotta disengage the whiteboard. Hold on. I'm gonna pause the video for a second. Look at that action move. Let's go back here. So go full screen. So let's say that this fish food right here. Oh, this Sarah food. What is this? Treat mix? Whatever. And let's say this X-Acto blade is. Let's say the en toto. The total of this was the drill bit. This part right here will get bent, right? With drilling with some other brands. Those Drillax ones, they are a little more expensive. It's only like $30 for a set though, so it's really, really not all that much, right? But the other slightly cheaper ones have a tendency to get bent, like how I just kind of showed you. And then they'll blow out the glass, and you'll have all sorts of problems. So I would spend the extra like $5 on the Drillax ones, and then just go that route, and it'll just save you some headache. And just make sure that you have like nice consistent speed. Don't press super hard. Keep it even. Keep a lot of water in there to keep the drill bit cool and the glass cool itself. And just go slow. Just go slow. Don't go crazy fast like I do. And that's how it's going to be. So that's the drill bits there. And then Palmer, I don't know. Where would you buy bulk overflows? Do you mean bulkheads? Is that what you mean? I think you mean bulkheads would be my guess. But let me know. Let me know if you mean bulkheads. Because I've got links for those too. I get those off of Amazon also. If you're talking about bulkheads, if you're talking about overflows, most of the overflow boxes, I make them. So overflow boxes I make, if you're talking about over the glass, I don't use those. I drill holes and use bulkheads. So I'm going to guess that you're asking about bulkheads, right? So we want to go here. And where's the... Oh, yeah, here we go. So let's get the text on this one. And this one's actually on sale. So this one here is actually on sale on Amazon. Lifeguard Aquatics are the bulkheads that I like the best on online. You can find some cheaper ones out there, but they normally don't fit right. They don't thread as well. And oftentimes they save they probably save like a half of a cent on a cheaper rubber gasket, bushing, whatever you want to call it, that goes in there. And I think it's the cheapest move in the world, and some other companies do that. John Gonzalez says, I absolutely have to remind people that lots of tanks are tempered glass. Drill at your own risk, folks. If you don't know what tempered glass is, you're definitely going to have to go look up a video. I can explain tempered glass to people over and over and over again, but I can't give you the visual of how to identify tempered glass. You're going to have to go find somebody's video that shows you how to identify tempered glass. There are multiple ways to do that, but they're almost always visual. It's super hard to explain. You have to get polarized. You have to get polarized sunglasses, and as you guys can tell, I wear spectacles for seeing with my eyeballs, so I've never purchased polarized prescription sunglasses. I have some of the world's worst sunglasses ever. I don't know what happened. I got these a really long time ago. They're the worst sunglasses. They do not... but they're prescription, though. But you need a polarized lens. Now, I happen to have polarized lenses for my camera, so I can actually do it with my camera, but I don't recommend anybody going that route because you could probably just get some $5 sunglasses instead of a $100 polarized lens cover, lens filter. Let's see. Brian Showerman hasn't been able to catch for months. I hope you're doing well. Things are going pretty well. Yeah. You'd have to rewatch the show if you really want to find out what's going on. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is exciting. We have a new Patreon. Oh my gosh. And I forgot to talk about the other. We have a new Patreon. It is Ryby. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to say your name right. Ryby. Thank you very much, guys. It feels like a win. That feels like a win to me. We lost a lot of Patreonizers today for some reason. And I honestly was just I don't know. Well, hold on a second. Let me check this out. I saw this. I was looking at this earlier, and I think that's what settled it into my head was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people have left the Patreon since the first. So we're averaging about one a day exiting, which I don't even know what that's about because no one has even been filling out their exit interviews, which there's a little survey that is just you just give some answers as to what happened. And most people haven't even filled that out. I think I only have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Only 13 people have ever filled that out. And I don't even want to count how many have. I don't want to count that. There's a lot that have left, but no one's ever actually figured that out. Ryby has no correct pronunciation. Meant to Patreon it up a week ago and forgot. Oh, well, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it. The Hostetler. Okay, cool. DMC of the Sea, is that a dehumidifier or a portable AC unit? That is a dehumidifier, because not only does it essentially heat the room, it also dehumidifies the room, which is just a double whammy of awesomeness. If I'm going to use electricity for anything, then those are the two things I want. Anyhow, I would appreciate air conditioning, honestly, only a few times out of the year. I know that you guys know that I complain about the hot weather because I just get like sweaty and I get tired, but that's life. You know, like sometimes we just complain about the weather because it's just like, it's just like life. You know what I mean? It's just life. And sometimes we just have a hard time. You know, sometimes we just have a hard time. Well, that went down. Yeah. Palmer Fish Q&A says it gave up asking for patronizers. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, it's not something that I'm supposed to talk about because people get all upset, right? Because they're like, you're begging for money, man, and everybody's always asking about begging for money, you know, blah. And everybody gets all upset and they start whining and complaining. I will tell you guys something. I listened on the way home today to the radio. There was a ton of commercials on there having to do with all sorts of crazy things that I have absolutely zero interest in. I didn't hear one singular aquarium related commercial. I heard a bunch of stuff. They were ads because ads pay for stuff. I get it. There are ads on YouTube. YouTube doesn't really kick down. YouTube doesn't really kick down for this kind of stuff because this long format, typically people only watch about 30 to 40% of this long format. And basically what happens with that is that YouTube goes, oh, that's a crappy performing video because it's not between 70 and 400%, right? So that's something that I think a lot of people forget about. A lot of people forget about that the format that we're existing in here on YouTube is that a lot of videos have like 300% watch time because they get watched over and over and over again. And the long format stuff like this does get penalized a little bit, and that's why I even started doing the Patreon at any point in time, is that if people wanted me to keep coming on here and talking about fish stuff and asking questions and being able to get answers and stuff. Gareth Doyle says, have you ever thought about Twitch for streaming? Yes, I have a Twitch account, and Twitch penalized me because I wasn't doing enough video game content. They said you won't be allowed to stream anymore unless your content, at least 70% of your content was video game stuff. I think, so they wanted me to do at least 70% video game content, and I'll tell you this much. If I was going to put up 3 hours, like let's say I did 3 1-hour-long streams about fish tanks and things, that would mean I'd have to do, I'm no math wizard here, but if I got 3 hours, I would need to add 7 hours of video game content, which is crazy because you guys know I'm an old school gamer, but I don't play video games anymore because I don't have time for it. I just don't. So that would mean that I'd have to add a whole bunch of other stuff. And Gareth says, even though they have a massive in real life section, yes, I'm saying I was signed up with Twitch when Twitch launched. I have an account there. You can probably find me on there if you needed to, even though it's probably buried somewhere in there. And yes, I was doing a bunch of work with Twitch. Then they sent me a bunch of emails to cease and desist because I wasn't doing video game stuff. So I said, okay. And then I decided, all right, I'll just go do it on YouTube, whether I'm going to get penalized on YouTube or not. At least they're not going to tell me that I need to make other stuff or whatever stuff they want me to make, right? So that was my big issue with Twitch, and there really isn't any reason. Honestly, there isn't a reason for me to like go there now and be like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? Let's do that there. You know, because let's see. So we have 114 people watching right now here. So it'd basically be like me telling like the between 300 and 500 people that stop in live to be just like, oh, go somewhere else. If you know, and it'd be like, and then they're like, well, where am I going? You know, it's like, go to some other place because I'm over somewhere now else. You know, so that that's really the issue that I have. All right, so let's actually talk about the video here, and not like I'm not trying to turn my back on you guys or anything, but keep the questions coming, and I will try to grab them as we go along. Here, Maple Street Aquatics says, "Are the leaves starting to fall out there?" They are here in Indiana. Hold on a second. Leaves. You guys, I see leaves across the street falling off of the tree. Now the depression's going to set in because the next 9 months of my favorite time of the year is coming. So I actually like almost all of the seasons, you guys. I like the winter season. I like fall. I like spring. I like summer, except for when it's too hot. Chevy Smith says 109 watching now. Oh, we got some people left. Oh, shoot. Only 34 likes. You guys, we need 100,000 shares, 500,000 likes, and something else. Oh, sorry. I was doing my PewDiePie impression. 500,000 likes if you want to see the end of the video. I do like his style. I do have to admit, the guy cracks me up on a pretty regular basis. Simply Beta is here. What's up, Simply Beta? We've got rock stars in the house all over the place. Richards Tanks, DMC of the Sea, save the leaves. Don't acknowledge the leaves. Leaves falling in Wisconsin. The leaves are falling, you guys. I know. When does fall start? 2, 3, 4 days from now? Something like that? Fall? When does fall begin? The 22nd, I think? Fall begins September 22nd. Oh, my gosh. Oh, lordy, lordy. Oh, lordy, lordy. What are we going to do? Because fall is coming, and then we're all going to be tripping out. Hold on. What did I do with the chat? Stop going full screen. It's weird. All right. Well, I'm excited. You guys are excited. Let's talk about the video a little bit. What do we do when disaster sets in with a gigantic reef, 180 gallons reef plus the sump, 220 gallons, something crazy? Let's take into consideration, what do we do? I was super lucky considering the giant disaster that I had that I'd already built the stand. I'd already started to get this set up to move the 180 over into the 60-gallon cube. You know, so luckily I was a little bit ahead of the game, realistically, because I'd already done a bunch of the stuff to get ready to move the reef, which meant basically what I needed to do was get everything plumbed, because I didn't have anything plumbed in yet, mainly because I think I was just procrastinating doing the plumbing, because I thought I was going to make like a really interesting video about like how to plumb the overflow and all that kind of stuff. And then I realized I've still got to do the new 120. So I'll do a more detailed video when that one gets plumbed up, and I was like, okay, so that's not a worry. We're not going backwards with any of that. That's not going to be a big deal. But either way, I needed to get everything plumbed together. Had to get the sump plumbed in and ready to go, and also figure out exactly what I was going to do. I had to make a ton of water. You guys just see at the beginning of the video there. I got the filters running, making a ton of salt water. I think essentially, let's see, on Sunday alone, I think I made, let's see, 60, 90. I think on Sunday, I think I made 100 and, let's be conservative. I'll say I made 110 gallons of salt water for the Reef. Because I had to make some for the other tank and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But I think conservatively I made up about 110 gallons, I think, of salt water. Anybody out there that's ever mixed salt water knows that that's not exactly like the funnest situation to have to make that much water on the fly. Because I make it 30 gallons at a time. And that's not the handiest thing when you're making only 30 gallons at a time and you need a lot more than that. So, you know, that's kind of the thing. Here I am actually getting the some of the salt water mixed up. I had to do this over and over again, basically. I kept having to make it. And yes, I use a specific garbage can. This garbage can is not used for anything except making Reef water. You know, that's the only thing that 100%. That's all I ever do in there. So that's yeah, that's that deal. Now, once I got all the water and the plumbing and everything put into place, I actually had to move all the live rock over, and you guys actually see in the video me empty a couple of bags of brand new, but I say I'm gonna put air quotes around substrate, you know, because it's Reef substrate. It's not what the planted people are used to seeing. I actually ended up going with the white beach sand in the front, and then I'm reusing a bunch from the 180 itself. Some of the medium substrate that I have, it's essentially, it's more like crushed coral. It's like double crushed coral, basically. And just to kind of round it out and fill up the space. But I did need some fine sand. That was one of the big issues that I had in the 180 is that I didn't have enough fine sand in there. So trying to kind of take a step in the right direction, redoing the Reef, even though this is like completely disaster control. I got all my new water in there. I got all my plumbing done. I got my substrate in there, and I had to transfer live rock. So one of the things I have to do is I have to transfer the live rock around. And also, here's the screwed up thing, is like, because the Reef was so messed up, I also had to rinse the live rock, which I don't have any video of me doing, so it's kind of dumb for me to even like really talk about it. But I had to get that stuff rinsed off. Now, the way that I had to do that, that's where my excess water was used for. So that extra Reef water that I made, I was using that to actually rinse any detritus and stuff like that, or anything that may or may not have been dead on my live rock. Move that over and get that in there. Now, something that's really important here, once I had that live rock moved over, now it's time to make sure that we come up to temperature. Once the temperature is achieved, here's essentially the biggest and best thing that I can recommend to anybody out there, and that's Seachem's stability, and it's not in this video, but I will have to grab a link for it if anybody is super interested in what it is. Seachem stability. Here it is. I've got the link, except it's not loading. Come on now. Give me a text link so I can use it. Give me a text link so I can use it. Paste. Here we go. So Seachem Stability, this is definitely one of those products that I have to recommend if you ever have a crash. I don't recommend this product for cycling anything realistically, but this comes in super handy if you have a tank crash. This is not how I would recommend people to go about their business if you're just starting up. If you're just starting up a deal. All right, hold on a second. Let me copy this. Anyhow, so if you're just starting up a new tank, I wouldn't recommend that you go the Seachem Stability route. This is a good way to go about it. If where is the stupid search thing here? Sorry guys, I'm trying to do two things at the same time. Where this thing is like, this is impossible to navigate. I'm trying to search, but it sends me to the search page. I gotta call this guy. This is ridiculous. Yo, man, your search page don't work. Now I'm gonna freak out. Yeah, I don't even know. Where is this? Yeah, I don't know. Candy. That seems like a bad link to me. That link don't work. And I can't search. I can't search the web page because it takes me to this. What is this? What is this weirdness? And that's the mailing list. Oh man. I gotta email this dude. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, you guys. Yo, man, search don't work right on your website. There. There. Instead of getting you guys the right link, well, Candy, if I hit that link, it takes me to Aquarium Co-op fertilizer, fish food, plants, driftwood, aquarium lights, quarantine medication. Yeah, I don't know. Cupramine, Neoplex, Pond Ick. Yeah. So I don't know. Either way, there's the Amazon link that actually takes you to the thing that I'm talking about, Seachem Stability. Buy it wherever you like. Buy it wherever you like. Either way, it's a thing, and we shall find out. I don't know. I don't know what happened. So either way, that doesn't work. Okay, so people keep saying it's working right for them. It takes me to the home page, and when I click on search, it takes me to search results. Maybe that's the thing. Okay, maybe it's operator error, but there's no... Ah, that's what it is. So, okay, hold on. Well, either way, I don't know. Somebody buy it from wherever. I'll figure that out later. Maybe it's me screwing it up, but I'm guessing if that happens to me, that probably happens to a ton of people. So either way, I'll pass that on. But anyhow, Seachem Stability is fantastic stuff. I wouldn't necessarily... Yeah, so like 30 people just left. Great. And it's a good show. Having a good show here on a Wednesday, guys. Yeah, keep it loose. Anyhow, what I was trying to talk about was... Seachem Stability. It's a useful stuff. It definitely comes in handy if you are trying to jump cycle a disaster. I don't recommend using this if you're just setting up a tank. If you're just setting up a tank, I highly recommend to get actual biological material from a cycled aquarium near you. That's what I recommend. I don't recommend to just be starting up tanks this way and going this route. I don't think it's the best idea. I just don't. And I could just argue and talk about it for a really long time. But either way, the CChem stability is what I'm utilizing to do this and make it work properly. I guess as time goes on. I don't know. Sorry. We got to restart. But anyhow, CChem stability is what I'm utilizing in the meantime to help kick up an extra biological filtration, just to kind of boost the biological that's going on. But I definitely am monitoring the fish. I'm monitoring the temperature. I'm monitoring the water as much as I can, up until the point of being like a little bit paranoid about anything that could be going on in the tank at the time, or at any kind of point of given time that anything could be going on. I'm kind of like, oh my God, what's going on? That's kind of where I'm at right now, and just having to do that. I will say, so far we have one of the clownfish has survived. The 2 platinum cardinals survived. The firefish survived. The wrasse survived, and something else that escapes my mind. Not all of the snails survived this disaster. As you guys know, like 7 years ago was the last disaster. That was the frozen reef. This time isn't the frozen reef. This time is the fresh reef. I accidentally left the auto top off water on for like 5 hours. And that was a little bit crazy, but they're both crazy. This time the crabs all survived and the snails did not, which is weird. I would have expected the snails to just not care. I would have expected the snails to like just crawl out of the water. But that is not the case. A lot of the snails did not do well. And as you guys know, if you have a bunch of snails die, it is the foulest smell that you could possibly imagine. So there was the one day that it reeked of the pain of death in the fish room, wandering in there and just being like, oh, that is a wall of bad news that I can smell, So that part was a little bit crazy, and and it's but so far all the hermit crabs and all them survived. Today I went and got some more snails and hermit crabs at the local place, and kind of funny, I got to talk to somebody there who's had some contact with some YouTubers who are just as crazy as they've been, as most people would say. There's some crazies out there. So I had some funny conversations with those guys. Picked up more snails today. I think I picked up like 20 snails and 10 or 15 more hermit crabs just to round it out, and especially because the hermit crabs are a fan favorite. The hermit crabs are almost everybody's favorite when they come check out a Reef aquarium. Like the little hermit crabs doing little hermit crab stuff, everybody loves that. So I would like to keep Vicky Toria engaged with the tank and things that are going on. I almost went overboard and almost got some zoanthids today because I would love to get some corals back in here, but it's just bad advice. It would be bad advice for me to do that. So I'm going to keep waiting before I start getting some coral. So, and to be brutally honest with you guys, last time I did get some orphan coral that wasn't coral that I really wanted. So I will be focusing this time to make sure that I only get stuff that I want into the tank, like 100%. Like if it's not something that we want into the tank that fits with the theme, then we're just not going to do it. It's just not going to happen because, you know, I know personally I ended up with some stuff in the tank that I was taking care of that I just don't want to be in the tank. I think those platinum cardinals, I think I'm definitely going to take them out. I talked to the guy today and was like, hey, man, can you rehome them? And he was like, for sure. So that'd be the one fish that goes away. But either way, that's what's going on. So I don't know what happened to the show. It went off the rails when I was trying to figure out how to use the internet while being on the show at the same time. So let me get back to the chat here a little bit and answer any questions we got. And I think, honestly, I am, for whatever reason, getting a little bit wiped out. And I think it's, I didn't sleep well at all last night. I was very emotional yesterday, and I'm still pretty emotional today. So that's probably why I'm tired. So let's see. DMC says crabs are so fascinating to watch. I almost want to do a salt tank just for the crabs. I would not blame you. I would not blame you at all. It's fish, algae blennies, and hermit crabs get the ladies. I love blennies, and I'm so sad that my Clausewitz blenny died. That fish dying was really upsetting to me, so we're going to go back. We're going to do some blennies. We're going to do some gobies, and we're going to do some firefish. That's going to be the main inhabitants in this tank, and we're going to go that route because that's what I want to do. Or I don't know. Or I'll keep you posted. Alyssa Bentley says, I was once collecting pest snails out of a tank for someone and left them in a cup with a screw-on lid and forgot to change the water. You should have just thrown the cup away. Yes, you should have just thrown the cup away. You should have just thrown the whole thing into the sun, I think, is pretty much what you should have done. Lacrimosa, what's up? Good to see you. 54 Punchy, a wall of bad news. I'm going to remember that. Yeah. Let's see. Ed's Fish, wow, that's awesome. Hardy little buggers. As a bonus, at least, you can be sure nothing has any parasites now. Yeah, that's very true. That is one of the things for the... that is one of the deals with this crazy thing happening to the reef and it just going 100% fresh. All of the none of the parasites could have survived. They all died. Sad news, all the copepods died. So the year of growing copepods is kind of down the drain, but I'm gonna have to be real cognizant of seeding the copepods and making sure that all is well on that end, because I need to get that colony back up and growing and reproducing, because some of the fish that I want desperately need copepods. If you don't know what copepods are, they're sort of like fruit flies of salt water. They look like little tiny fleas, but they don't have flea-like behavior. They have more behavior like a fruit fly, if that kind of makes sense. So if you start to think about, like, you got fruit flies going around and you got a bunch of lizards, the lizards will eat them, like frogs and stuff like that. It's sort of that kind of relationship, sort of. And the copepods are very helpful for a live food source. I guess, never mind, the freshwater version would just be like baby brine shrimp, mosquito larvae, that kind of stuff. So it's just a live food source that lives in salt water, that is just like these little bugs. They're not harmful. They're actually kind of good. And they're also good in the fact that they're food, so I'll have to be doing some of that. Barack says, same here. I saw porcelain crabs at my local fish store the other day. Was considering selling a kidney to get a saltwater tank set up. Honestly, you guys can do, almost anybody out there can do a saltwater setup fairly economically. If you have the tank, if you have like an old hang-on back filter, then you're basically just looking for a little bit of substrate, some dry rock, and salt and water filter. you know, and one of the things that you can do is essentially do a closed system that you're not doing water changes on ever. But I find doing water changes much easier than really any other process of going about stuff. Johnny Zelaya is here, says, "What's up, Joel? What's the best way to waterlog driftwood? Also hoping my blue bolt shrimp breed so I can send you some." Wow, that's actually, I hope your blue bolt shrimp do breed also. Yes. But the best way to waterlog driftwood, people constantly tell me that they're boiling it and that kind of stuff. I have boiled it in the past, and I think that does speed it up, but realistically, like hold on, let me go back to the segment here. Okay, let me move me over here. Let's pause this. Let's turn on the whiteboard. So this garbage can right here, you can see that this thing, right? This garbage can is a 44 gallon, and I only fill it up to like right here, right? This thing, this cost 30. It's so hard to do this. $34 plus tax. Okay. The best way to waterlog stuff, attach a rock to whatever you want to waterlog and stick it in here filled up with water. And then just leave for like a week. You know, just stick it in there and leave it for like a week. I don't understand people boiling wood all day and all night and all day and all night and all day and all night. Just leaving it in there will pretty much do the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Maybe it takes a day longer. I personally, it's not a big deal to me, but I find that to be the best way to waterlog stuff is just find a big garbage can and stick the driftwood in there underwater and just leave for a while. You know, I have water changes, I have paintings to work on, I have all sorts of other stuff I can do while I'm waiting on that. So I would normally just throw it in like a week ahead of time and then forget about it until it was time to use that wood in the scape. I know it's a drag, like if you just got a piece of wood in and it's ready to go into the tank. If that's the case, I would just waterlog it in the tank, tie a big rock to it, drill a hole in it, and put the stainless screw in it. Make a 2-part epoxy and epoxy a rock to it so it doesn't go anywhere. There's lots of ways to weight it down that can be perfectly long term, and that's the route I would go. Ed's Fish says, I always wanted to set up a saltwater mangrove tank, but I recently discovered painting, so there goes all of my money. Yeah, you buying some canvas? You buying some canvases, Ed? Yeah. Painting gets crazy when you start buying really good high quality paint and canvases, and then all of a sudden people are like, why does this painting cost $400? Why does this painting cost $1,200? And you're like, it was 40 hours of work and money. So that's really the deal. Tampa Tom says, favorite size of the Brute trash can. It's the 10 gallon. For me personally, I like the skinny tall ones that are rectangular. Those are actually my favorite ones. I don't get to have them right now, but I will be adding one to the fish room soon. And I'll make a video for you guys. Relax. I'll make a video for you so you'll understand what exactly is going on with that. They are a little bit cheaper, I think, for sure. Last Raven says, I tried boiling it once. I just used a rock the next time. Yeah, the whole boiling thing is just like the house smells funny. It's all super humid in your house. It's all bizarro, and your pot ends up with weird tannin stains in it. It's just a kind of a nightmare. So it's kind of a waste of time, realistically. Let's see. hollow core doors work great for paintings. That's a good point, Pete. They actually do work great unless you don't want to work that big, or if you don't want to have a hole in it, or if you don't want to, or if you're not somebody that can get like used ones. If you can get used cheap ones somewhere, that's a really good deal. But if I was going to go to the place where I got the used hollow core doors, I think I would probably get the old windows and stuff from there and actually paint on old windows. I like doing that more personally. DMC says, I had money and then I started making resin art and river tables. I have a nice table now. And yeah, I have been there. Making 2-part epoxy and resin stuff is way expensive. It's not cheap at all. Luckily, I have a bunch stashed away for some projects for Vicky. And maybe she didn't hear me say that. But she'll be like, what are you doing? What are you making for me? And I'll be like, I can't tell you. And then, she'll still want to know. Jeffro says, hope you have a better day tomorrow. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's always a good day. Every day is always a good day, Let's see. Ed's Fish using a crap ton of MDF that I put paint on. Yep. Brendan Wagner, anybody ever harvest rainwater for tanks? You can, but just bear in mind that their pH is going to be super, super low. As it falls through the sky, it essentially gets, it's running through a lot of free-floating carbon, So, bear that in mind. Rainwater is super low pH. Let's see. Ed's Fish says, I usually just cook live rock for new tanks. Never heard of that Seachem stuff. Seems like a good thing to have on hand. Yeah, so the Seachem stability is actually, it's essentially got bacteria in it, and it also just gives a little bit of boost for the bacterial growth. So it essentially is like, I guess the easiest way to explain it, that stability stuff, is like, here's the food for bacteria, and here's some bacteria culture. And realistically, the stuff that's going on in the tank, it will just help. It's just whatever I can do to help to keep the fish healthy right now. That's why I'm using the stability. I don't recommend people to like utilize it all by itself and then just the next day go purchase new fish and just put them in the tank. That's the big issue that I'm always worried about with products like stability. Is that they think they set up a brand new tank and then they just throw some stability in there and they're like, cool, it's fine now. Let's go buy fish. I wouldn't go buy fish. That's why I just tell people, like, you need to get some seeded material to get the cycle going really fast. That's going to be your best bet. And then they go, what are you talking about? And then I go, exactly. Maybe you need to just spend a little more time getting ready, getting ready, getting a little more prepared for your new inhabitants. It really does break my heart when fish die. It really does. It's upsetting when they die, and it's just, I just don't. It's not a good thing. So, Ooh, M. Howie is a fan of the 55-gallon food-grade drums. I'm a fan of those, but I'm not a huge fan of round things that go on square or rectangular shelves. So that's kind of my thing with that. Brandon Wagner, can I train my tetras to eat seed shrimps, starve them, then add shrimps? Tetras will just eat seed shrimp if they can get them. They'll try. Ed's Fish, I always wanted the mangrove tank. I forgot to mention the mangrove tank. I will be adding some mangroves at some point in time to this, to the new Reef setup. So I'd look forward to that. I just, realistically, I just need to find some local that I can get my hands on and actually utilize them. I don't know how to say Mr. or Mrs. It's Uvdulariak.
Uwe Deloriak Peterson just received the Phoenix Planet Plus light, so better than the T8. Maybe Fluval next time. Thanks for the show. Yeah, I like the Phoenix Planet Plus. I just happen to be more of a fan of the Fluval 3.0. I like that light a lot. It just works really, really well, and I'm really happy with the features on it. Like Ramosa says, long term, how is 40 parts per million nitrate on fish in a heavily planted tank? 40 parts per million nitrate will not harm your fish at all in a planted tank. That's not a problem at all. Mr. Bees says, I have fish outside. Rainwater is wet. They spend the summer in. I'm currently switching them over to my well water. They will be coming in for the winter. Dependent on how much it is raining out there, it might not even be a big deal for you. But just bear in mind that rainwater does have low pH. It for sure does. So Tampa Tom says, I just set up an old 55 I got for free outside of my window. Any ideas for plans I should try? Mangrove tank. Yes, for sure. Let's see here. All right, guys. I'm starting to, something is going on. I'm getting like a little bit of a headache or something. I'm not sure what it is. Something's going on. Like I said, I didn't sleep all that much last night. So, kind of stressed out over bad news and stuff like that. So let's wrap the show up because I'm getting to the point where I'm just reading people's questions off, and I don't like it when other people do that, so I'm not going to do that myself. If you have a question, send them in joel@darkstararts.com. You could head over to the Patreon and post it on the community page. I answer those on Friday, which is not tomorrow. It's the day after. Answer all the Patreon questions. You post in the community section there, and I go through them one by one and do my best to answer them live on the internet. Right? And then everything's good. Everything's good with that. Let's see. The other way you can get a hold of me is post a comment on the video down below and let me know if you have a question or concern or comment or complaint. That's 3 ways that you can do it. Obviously, one way is not free, but the commenting on YouTube is free and emailing me is free. So if anybody is tripping about that, relax. Those 2 are free. I know that Patreon costs $1 a month. Cool. Super chats for the day? None. We had 0 super chats for today, so thanks to nobody for super chatting, and that just kind of actually makes for just a good show. I kind of like it that way. Let's see. So everybody is getting ready to head out, and did I forget anything else? I mentioned the Aquarium Co-op Pentatophyta, which is something I wanted to mention. Hoping that you guys would be able to get that in if that was something that you were looking for. And here's the link for it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out that plant. It's an awesome plant. It's my favorite plant. And go check that out. You can at least just roll over there and like take a look. You can take a look at it and just be like, oh, that's the one he got yesterday. I pushed everyone down at the Aquarium Co-op. I was like, well, I didn't push them down. I pushed them out of the way like I was going through a crowd. And I was like, get out of the way. I'm getting some Pentatophyta, you fools. And but it was pretty good. Thanks for everybody for coming out today. Thanks for all your well wishes and stuff like that. It's, realistically, it's not a hard time for me. It's a hard time for the people that pass away. I think that's why we fight to not die. I think. But that's a much deeper philosophical conversation for a different time, because I don't have time to do it right now. But we'll get there someday, you guys. Have a great night out there. Don't light off any fireworks, and I'll talk to y'all later.